Hey everyone, it's Fun Around, and my name is Jordan, and I love all the success stories that I've been seeing recently from these videos. So I'm going to keep it up. I will put my plays in the pinned comment. I'll do my best to try to find some plus money plays like the Zach Edey double-double, which just missed, but did hit some plus money double-doubles prior days to that. But this will be a breakdown of the game. So I'm going to get right into it. You'll see images that come up on the screen right here. That's from a data app called Outlier. There will be a link in the description for a 7-day free trial for Outlier. So this first game is going to be the Trailblazers, who will be on a back-to-back versus the 76ers. The Sixers are 3.5-point favorites. The Blazers will not have DeAndre Ayton, and Jeremy Grant was out for the game on Sunday versus the Cavaliers. He's probably questionable. They haven't made that announcement yet. And the Sixers obviously have no Joel Embiid. From here on out, I'm probably not even going to mention him. And Paul George is questionable for this one, so that's pretty big. The Blazers out of the All-Star break are 4-2 and 4-2 against the spread. I'm going to say against the spread, even if it's redundant, because it matters to the spread bettors. The Sixers are 1-4 out of the break and 1-4 against the spread. I did check with the Blazers because I am worried about their back-to-back against Cleveland. They just win the overtime. In the last 6 back-to-back games for the Trailblazers, they are 5-1, and that is straight and against the spread. So it hasn't really hampered them much. So the last time we saw the Sixers, they beat the Warriors. The Warriors did not have Jimmy Butler, and they had like a superhuman effort from Quentin Grimes. I doubt we see that again. So I think this could be a pretty hard-fought game. The past month, the Sixers giving up the 9th most points overall and the 5th most assists. The Blazers are giving up the 9th least points. They're actually been pretty good. So you could lean the Blazers unless you're just completely against teams on a back-to-back. But some matchups to take a look at. For the 76ers, there are a lot of tough matchups just around the board. And for the Trailblazers, Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson have this matchup, so they're both here. The Sixers give up the most points to the point guard position. Simons had 27 points against Cleveland, and Scoot had 15 points, and he went 3 for 5 from the three-point line. I know his three-point line, I think last time I saw, was 1.5, and he had been cashing it a ton. And then Denny Avdia had a triple-double, 30 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and the Sixers are giving up the 7th most rebounds and the 3rd most assists, the small forward position. I know he was injured going into that. He got hurt like twice in one game and ended up leaving a couple games back, but he was very ball dominant in this one against the Cavaliers, and he played very well. Distributing the ball. They pretty much ran the offense through him. My only worry is he played 42 minutes. So this next game is the Warriors at the Hornets. Warriors are 11.5-point favorites. This will get the high blowout potential sign. The Warriors beat the Hornets on February 25th, not too long ago. They beat them 128-92. Jimmy Butler is likely to return. Jonathan Kuminga remains out. Miles Bridges is probable with an illness, and Yusuf Nurkic is off the injury report, so he will be back. Warriors are 4-1 since the break and 4-1 against the spread. The Hornets are 0-6 out of the break and 2-4 against the spread. They just lost to the Wizards by 13 points. They did not seem to be motivated. So for this one, I'm pretty worried about the blowout potential. Mark Williams does have a good matchup against the Warriors' small lineup. The thing about Mark Williams is we've seen Yusuf Nurkic play with him out. And Yusuf Nurkic played great. We've seen Mark Williams play with Yusuf Nurkic out. They have played some games together, but not after we saw Yusuf Nurkic have really good games. So I don't know what the rotation is going to look like. Mark Williams could have his minutes bumped down a little bit than what we're normally seeing, and we have the high blowout potential. So Nurkic could get those backup minutes in a blowout. This is one that I'm just going to stay away from. So if you guys could, please like the video, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? Just put the number 1. That helps get this video out there for more people to see. And also, if you use Prizepicks and you want to get away from it or try something else out with dynamic payouts, more options, check out Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, ChalkBoard ChalkBoard or better. Underdog's matching your first deposit up to $1,000. The rest are doing up to $100, and Better is matching your first bet up to $250. Promo code is FINAROUND11. Thank you to anyone who uses those. This third game is the Wizards at the Heat. The Heat will be on a back-to-back, and the Heat are 11-point favorites. Jordan Poole will remain out for this one. The Heat, they had Wiggins and Jaime Jaquez out on Sunday, so I don't have a questionable tag for Monday. We will see. I imagine they're going to be questionable. The Wizards are 2-3 out of the break and 3-2 against the spread. The Heat are 3-3 out of the break and 4-2 against the spread. So the Heat on a back-to-back without Jimmy Butler are 3-2 in their last 5 and 3-2 against the spread. And some matchups that I like for the Wizards: Bilal Coulibaly. The Heat give up the 8th most rebounds and the 7th most assists to the shooting guard position. And the Heat just gave up 4 rebounds and 8 assists to Mikal Bridges at the shooting guard position for the Knicks, and that is definitely not his game. Coulibaly has been one of the better players for the Wizards, especially with Jordan Poole out, a young guy who's, figuring out the NBA. And then on the Heat side of things, they just played overtime game. We'll see who's questionable. So Bam Adebayo played 42 minutes. He's got a good matchup. Kel'el Ware at the center position has a good matchup. The Wizards give up the 4th most points and the 2nd most rebounds to the center position. So he didn't play too many minutes. It was in the 20s. So we could see a boost here in this matchup against the Wizards. This 4th one is going to be the Hawks at the Grizzlies. This is a absolute fireworks matchup. The Grizzlies are 6.5-point favorites. These are 2 of the top fastest paces in the NBA. It can either be great and feed families, or this can, one team can just run away, and this could be a big deficit quickly. But hopefully they go back and forth. The Hawks, Trae Young is probable. Unfortunately, George Niang is going to be out for this one, and I like him as a Cleveland fan. Ja Morant is questionable, and Desmond Bane is off the injury report, so he should play. The Hawks are 1-4 out of the break and 1-4 against the spread. The Grizzlies are 2-4 out of the break and 0-6 against the spread. I guess the books have been favoring them just a little too much. So the Grizzlies are giving up the most points overall over the past month and the most assists. The Hawks are giving up the 4th most points and the 7th most assists. So guys to look out for are going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. And Santi Aldama. At the power forward position. The Hawks give up the most points to the power forward position. Triple J just had a 42-point game, and Aldama had 15 in that game. Morant and Desmond Bane did not play in that one. Desmond Bane will be playing, so if Morant sits out, a lot of volume is going to go, especially to Triple J. And there are good matchups just around the board. I'm just pointing out some of the top ones. Obviously, Trae Young, the 5th most assist to the point guard position and the most assist overall. And a sleeper to look out for is going to be Caris LeVert. The Grizzlies are giving up the most points to the shooting guard position and the 5th most assists. I know you might be thinking, well, why not Dyson Daniels? His scoring's been kind of off and on, and his assists have been kind of off and on. Caris LeVert, that's just what he does, is score. But he's averaging 15.5 points and 2 assists in 8 games with the Hawks since he's been traded, and that's in 28 minutes. Next game will be the Rockets at the Thunder. Thunder will be on a back-to-back, and they are 11.5-point favorites. The Rockets, Fred VanVleet will be out. And then this is just awful. Amen Thompson, Alfred Sengun, Tari Eason, and Dylan Brooks are all questionable for bruises and soreness. So this one's really hard to determine, what to pick. High blowout potential if they all sit, of course. Thunder, Chet Holmgren sat out Sunday. We'll see if he is questionable for Monday. But the Rockets are 3-2 out of the break, and they are 2-2-1 against the spread. The Thunder are 5-1 out of the break, and they are 3-3 against the spread. So note on the Thunder, they started out the year back-to-backs 7-0. And then their last 5 on back-to-backs, they were 1-4. If all those guys who are questionable play, then I think we have a really good game here, a really hard-fought game, and then that 11.5-point spread, I would favor the Rockets. But the Thunder are giving up the 3rd least points overall, and the Rockets the 10th least points. This is just one that I'd want to stay away from, and keep an eye out for those injuries. And before I get into these last couple of games, I want to shout out the app Novig. I've been using Novig here in South Carolina. I have to drive over to North Carolina to place bets on sports books, but I can actually bet money lines here in South Carolina with Novig. So you'll see here for Sunday, I did the Cavs money line plus Ty Jerome. I knew Ty Jerome was more than likely going to go off with Donovan Mitchell out. And then during that game, while the Cavs were down, I was just throwing in live bets. I was definitely sweating that one, but with Novig, I was able to place those bets and I didn't have to leave my house. So I'll put a link in the pinned comment. We'll give you $5 free, and promo code is FINAROUND11, all caps, and they'll give you 50% off up to $25. This next game is the Kings versus the Mavericks. Mavericks are 1.5-point favorites. Domantas Sabonis will be out for this one. The Mavericks, they have all their usual centers out, and PJ Washington will be out for this one. Dwight Powell is back, and Moses Brown, who I said was a sleeper last time around, had a really good game, is favored to go to the Knicks now. His contract ended. Kings are 3-1 out of the break and 3-1 against the spread, and the Mavericks are 2-3 out of the break and against the spread. Kings are giving up the 10th most points last month, and the Mavericks are giving up the 11th most. So this is kind of a fireworks game. If they both were top 10, I put fireworks game, but this is kind of there. Kings are giving up the 3rd most threes to teams. So guys to look out for are Kyrie Irving. He played well against them not too long ago. Max Christie, I know a lot of people don't like him because he's been kind of off and on. So that's why I'm not putting his image up here. And same with this guy, Klay Thompson. His points have been off and on, but if you check Klay Thompson's 3-pointers, I was kind of surprised. He's had 4 or more 3-pointers made in 6 out of the last 7 games, and that one miss was 3 3-pointers. So, and then on the King side of things, the last game they played on February 10th, DeRozan dropped 42 points. The rest of the guys didn't do too much. But a sleeper, I guess you could call him a sleeper because you have so many other offensive options, is Jonas Valanciunas. The Mavericks give up the 5th most points to the center position and the 15th most rebounds over the last 2 weeks while they've been struggling out of the break. And Valanciunas had 15 points and 14 rebounds last game when Domantas Sabonis got hurt 1 minute into the game. And this final game is the Pistons at the Jazz. The Jazz will be on a back-to-back. The Pistons are 9.5-point favorites. I'm going to put high blowout potential for this one as well. Pistons, they will not have Tobias Harris. He will be out for personal reasons. And the Jazz, they've been dealing with a plethora of injuries. Jordan Clarkson was out on Sunday. John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton. We'll see if they continue to be out. Walker Kessler was out due to rest, so there's a good chance that he plays in this one. And that could affect Jalen Duren props for like rebounding and scoring because Kessler is a good defender. So the Pistons are 5-1 out of the break and 5-1 against the spread. Jazz are 2-4 and then 4-2 against the spread. So they have been pretty tough even with all of these injuries. It's just the back-to-back. So the Jazz, they did beat the Rockets on the back-to-back most recently on February 22nd, which is a good team to beat. It's just that all the other back-to-backs have been ugly. So the Pistons have been on fire. One guy I have to mention is going to be Malik Beasley with a really good matchup. They're giving up the 7th most points to the shooting guard position and the 6th most 3-pointers made over the last couple of weeks. And then Cade Cunningham has a good matchup. 9th most points to point guards, 2nd most rebounds, 14th most assists over the last 2 weeks. If there is a blowout, then the backups will get a little bit more run, and I think that will help Malik Beasley a little bit more because he does come in that second unit unless they start him with Tobias Harris. out. So yeah, if we get a competitive game, I think these guys will do great. But yeah, high blowout potential. So if you guys would like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. You can talk about lines all day long in there, about all kinds of sports. And then as far as a recap goes of the last video, I had a lot on Zach Edey. So his regular prop was 7.5 rebounds. I hit that. And then it was bumped up to 8.5, hit that as well. I tried 9.5 and a double for plus money, and he had 9 rebounds. He hooked on the double, and man, that would have been just a huge night. I did have the Hornets versus the Wizards, and the Hornets just really disappointed me. The Wizards looked great with Jordan Poole out, and the Hornets just looked deflated. I had the Bucks versus the Mavs, that hit, and then I had a DraftKings parlay for Giannis and Mark Williams, and that hit. And then I've been doing this Prizepicks Goblin double up with 4 Goblins, which gives you 2.2x. I've hit 2 in a row now, ever since I started it. I'm 2 for 2. But the 4 legs does kind of scare me a little bit. If I do 3, it's 1.8x. So I may go to the 1.8x because some of these legs have been really sweaty right near the end. So it'd be kind of a close to a double up, but with much better chances. So I will check in the morning for lines, and I will put my plays in the pinned comment, like I said, and I hope you all do well. So I'm going to get this edited, get it out to you. God bless you all. It's fun around. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.